All right, we'll go and get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Rory Arredondo. I do hacker success at ETHGlobal, and I'll usually host these workshops before our in all of our events online and in person. And I thought it'd be a good idea to also do one for ETHIndia as well. So I've only been with the team since March, and so this will be my first ETHIndia event. But yeah, I mean the format of this, if this anybody's first ETHIndia or if you're first ETHGlobal in general, like the format of this, I'll just kind of go through some areas of the websites and some helpful resources and guides for you all to kind of help you prepare for the hackathon. But feel free to ask questions, as well as we go along. It doesn't necessarily have to just be me talking the entire way. And then, yeah, we'll also leave time for some questions towards the end too. But I want to try to make sure that, obviously you're all here for a reason. So if you have a particular question that you want to get answered that I haven't covered, definitely feel free to take yourself off mute and ask, or even type in the chat. And if it's typed in the chat, it might take me a while to go back and find it. But yeah, that's going to be the format of this. So again, yeah, welcome. So hopefully everybody's doing great. Hopefully you're all in India right now, or if you're not there yet, that you're going to get there pretty soon, and hopefully you have safe travels. One thing I wanted to share really quickly before kind of diving in is that Thursday, so tomorrow we have Pragma India, so there's still time to apply for this event as well. And it'll be, so it's Thursday. I mean, we have a lot of different content and speakers that'll be there. So it's really great. A hacker, if you've never been to a Pragma event before, heard of it, a lot of hackers will attend this to, again, get more ideas for their projects, what they want to work on for the event. So that's why we have these a day before the event actually starts. But yeah, I would suggest, having a look at it. And there is, I just realized I forgot that there is, I believe this is still available, but Filecoin had tweeted, say, complimentary pass. So I go ahead and send that in the chat from their Twitter. They tweeted this yesterday. So, there's still time, I believe, to claim a ticket if you're interested in attending. So yeah, go ahead and do that. All you'd have to do is basically, go click apply to attend. It'll take you to the payout section, and then whenever you pay via credit card, you just enter this code in. So that's and then we get you the free ticket. Okay. So that was that. The other thing that I really wanted to mention and stress, and hopefully you've all done this already, is the making sure that you connect your Discord or your dashboard to our Discord. We're going to send a lot of information, announcements, find the team channel. Everything is there on the ETHGlobal Discord channel. So all you have to do is go to your dashboard. There will be a link here to join ETHGlobal's Discord, and then you just follow those steps. One thing, whenever you're doing that, and I'll send a link here to the dashboard in case you don't have it, is making sure that whenever you log into our ETHGlobal's the dashboard on our website, that you're logged in using the email address that you signed up with for ETHIndia. Otherwise, it won't recognize it. It'll say unauthorized, and then you just won't be able to do it. So, but if you are logging in, you're with the correct email address, then it shouldn't be no problem. If you do have any questions, though, or run into any issues, I just sent in the hello@ethglobal.com email address. Feel free to send a message there with screenshots and anything, and we'll make sure that you get sorted, that you're able to join. And yeah, and so if you haven't already, the Discord, once you connect it, you'll be able to see all the ETHIndia channels and even the partner channels. So, I mean, this is really important because, again, the event schedule, this is where we'll send all the workshops that are coming up, the information channel. We have some links and important information that we'll be sending throughout the weekend as well. ETHIndia chat's been, popping with a bunch of people getting active and just, responding, and same with the Find a Team, the Find a Team channel as well. So, I mean, if you're still looking for a team or looking for members to join your team, this is a great resource to get in touch with other hackers that are participating in ETHIndia. The only thing is just to make sure that in your DMs that they're open to receive requests and friend requests. Otherwise, you'll just be messaging into the void. So if you come across somebody's profile that you find interesting, and you want to message them or get in touch with them, they'll just have to make sure that they can receive the DMs. Otherwise, you might have to send a friend request. Just basic Discord, how Discord operates. There was a question in the chat. So yeah, Kandala, yeah, the question was, can we create the team there after coming as well, right? Yes, you can definitely create the team as well. The reason why I'm kind of stressing this is just we want to make sure that you have as much time and opportunity to hack as well. So hacking begins Friday evening at 9 p.m. and it goes until Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So you get 36 hours to hack, right? And it's, I think for people, it's a lot less stressful, a lot more fun if you were able to already have a team formed, you already have an idea what you want to work on before you actually get to the hackathon. That way, when 9 p.m. starts, you can just go ahead, hit the ground running, basically. But yes, there will be a team formation session in person at the event as well. So you will still be able to, of course, meet people, when people start arriving, checking in, registration opens at 1 p.m., right? So you'll be able to enter the venue then, and then all the workshops start happening from 3 to 6 or 7 p.m. And I think right after that, that's when the workshop is. But certainly you can still form a team once you get there. But definitely strongly encourage people to try and have a team formed and an idea that they want, what they want to work on beforehand, just so you can take full advantage of hacking for the 36 hours. And yeah, whenever you do, like, so if once you have your profile, you are able to invite people to your team. So I just created a Cyber Cowboy team, but you are able to send this code to only staked and confirmed hackers. You can't send this to anybody that hasn't staked yet, hasn't been accepted, hasn't confirmed their status as an ETHIndia hacker. And if maybe you meet somebody and they have a team already, a code, and you want to join their team, you can go ahead and join their team. You just have to delete your team, but then you can join their team as well. Let's see. There was another question in the chat. My transport to Bangalore has been delayed by a few hours. Will it be okay if my team members check in early and I reach the venue by 9 p.m. on Friday, December 8th? Yeah, so if the team members check in, then that's great. I would suggest if you're going to be a little bit late after the 8 p.m. deadline, just send an email to ETHIndia at devfolio.co. You can you send them an email, give them a heads up that, hey, I'm gonna be a little late because transportation issues or delays, and they should be able to accommodate your request. But I would just give that email a heads up, and then they should respond to you. If they don't, always send me an email at hello@ethglobal.com, and I will make sure that somebody from that team sees it as well. But an hour, that shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I would just reach out to them just in case. Otherwise, you are able to check in Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon. So, and then after that point, it completely closes. Sorry, Ayush. Yeah. Sorry, I think I put ETHIndia. Yeah, that's probably the right email. I'll have to double check. But yeah. But yeah, so yeah, you're still able to check in Saturday. So okay. And yeah, then everything, like all this, if you do have any pressing questions, like if you haven't seen this yet, the Hacker's Guide is another really great resource for just anything and everything you could possibly think of for coming to ETHIndia and preparing for ETHIndia. So there's pretty detailed on what to bring, the check-in process, the weather, even the city guide. Like if maybe you're coming from out of town, you're not sure what to do, the city guide's really cool, and it kind of gives you other fun things to do, go out and explore whilst you're in Bangalore. But this hacker guide has a lot of information and great resource and content for you all to take advantage of as well. So definitely give this a read if you haven't done so already. I would suggest do it before, maybe it's like spend an hour or so beforehand. That way you kind of, again, once you come into the venue, you know exactly what's going to happen, what to expect. And another thing, actually, I will share is one of our guides. So we do, because we put on tons of events, right? So this is something else that we wrote that I wrote for just kind of what to expect from an ETHGlobal events perspective, but this should more or less kind of translates into what to expect for ETHIndia too. So you have to, log into ETHGlobal website in order to access the guide, but has a lot of really great information, I think, as well, in order for you all to, again, kind of just get a better understanding. If this is your first hackathon, it kind of gives you a better understanding what to expect. Some things are a little different between our events and ETHIndia events, or ETHIndia in general, but more or less kind of gives you a flow of what's to come over the course of the weekend. So that was that. The other thing, so I kind of mentioned the the workshops a bit, but here's the ETHIndia link if you haven't seen it already. But on here, of course, you have the different the other different partners and their prizes. You can actually the Hacker's Guide has a separate the bounties page too. But if you're also on here, you can also click view more, and it'll take you to the partners, the prizes, and all their information regarding the value, what qualifies to receive the partner prizes, and all the helpful links and resources for each of the different partners. So this is just a great way to, again, if you don't necessarily have to build, or compete for a partner prize, or build on top of each and every one of these. I mean, we certainly don't encourage everybody to try and apply for each and every partner. It's just so many prizes, and then just it makes your project completely blown out of proportion, and you want to make sure that you try and keep it as simple as possible, right? But these are here to kind of also help you, just in case you're stuck on what to work on. If you don't maybe have any good ideas yet, or you're still not really sure, a lot of the partners do give examples for what things that they would like to see worked on, just some different project ideas. So if you're stuck on something, definitely go through these, click through each of these, and just kind of give a read through. Maybe you're familiar with some of these. Maybe you already have an idea what you want to build on. That's great. If you don't, and maybe you've heard of something in particular, I would say reach out to whichever one kind of think works best for you, for what you want to achieve. And then one thing, and again, this goes back to why it's important to connecting your dashboard to Discord, is all of the partners have their own channels here. So again, what you see here in the website is also kind of detailed at the beginning of the partner channel. So the partners, the DevRels from the teams, they're going to be here answering questions, helping you get unblocked on anything you're currently faced. Whether if you have a technical question regarding their tech stack, or if you're running into an error on the tech stack. So it's another great way to sort of ask more specific questions to the partners and really start engaging with them. I mean, they're here to help support you. They're here to help answer your questions. So definitely feel free to send messages to partners using Discord. Let's see, I'm just going to check the chat real quick. There was a question, there is accommodation available. Yes, there actually is accommodation. So go back. So yeah, there is going to be mattresses and beanbags, limited capacity. But the venue is open 24/7 starting Friday at 1 p.m. That's when registration opens. So that's when the venue opens. So you'll be able to stay in the venue Friday 1 p.m. until Sunday evening, I think maybe 6 or 7 p.m. So you'll be able to be there, the weekend. And then there are some places where you can sleep with, as I mentioned, the mattresses. I believe on a first come, first serve basis. But it's not, it's not going to be, 5-star accommodation, right? So just keep that in mind. But the facility's huge enough to where people are able to sort of, chill out and have a quick shut eye and take a nap if needed. But yeah, that was a question that was asked in the chat. But yeah, there are no shower facilities, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, you will be provided with wet wipes, deodorants, and stuff. So, but yeah. And if you don't feel comfortable staying in this facility, I would suggest also Reaching out in the chats, just seeing if people are grouping together Airbnbs or splitting rooms or hacker houses or anything like that. I'm sure people probably are doing that. So I don't see the harm in reaching out, maybe just kind of putting yourself out there. Just kind of getting out of your comfort zone. But yeah. So yeah, anyways, as I was saying, like with the prizes, again, great resource for ideas. And another one thing I do want to mention is our past events. So if you go to actually I don't think I sent this. Let me just, this is going to be to Chainlink, but actually just so you all have it. Send that link. Another great resource is our past events, and we just have a ton of content on our YouTube channel. Basically, every event that we've ever done is on here, and it's separated into the different playlists. So you can actually, I mean, the most recent event was Istanbul. So if you go here, you'll see all of our different workshops, the opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies, and even last ETHIndia 2022. Where is it? There it is. So, I mean, all the different workshops, again, are great resources and opportunities for you to kind of get more ideas here, get help on maybe how to use a particular tech stack or anything basically. But I'm going to send this link here too. And I think this is really useful too, especially for like the opening and closing ceremonies, because there's a lot of great information there, particularly with the closing ceremonies, because as part of the closing ceremonies, it gives you an idea for what to expect in terms of like projects that are submitted and the top 10 finalists, right? So if you scroll through a little bit, you'll actually get to see the last year's ETHIndia's finalists present their demos live. And so if you're selected as a top 10 finalist, this is what you'll be doing. So you'll do a live demo in front of everybody at ETHIndia, for about 5-7 minutes. But this is also kind of a great way to give you an idea for what to expect in terms of projects, what to expect if you are selected as a finalist, and just I guess the caliber of projects that come out of the events. So, which is again, a lot of the teams I think that are finalists become this way because they just take a lot of time planning beforehand. They have a really good idea for what they want to work on. They have a great team that they've assembled, and then just spend the whole 36 hours hacking basically. So but it's a lot of fun too, I think. If you've never been to an event or ETHIndia, I definitely highly recommend to check this out, to kind of watch a couple of presentations to give you an idea for how things go. And there was a question in the chat. How can a person who is not into coding win a prize? That's a really great question. So we do have, I mean, of course, a lot of our, get out of this. A lot of our, majority of our attendees are builders. They are coders, but we do have a few designers, artists, product managers as well. So I'm more on the non-technical side. I'm trying to get to the technical side, but I think a lot of the teams that do maybe just have the 3 devs or 4 devs could definitely use somebody who has a non-technical side as well to help them, whether it's helping out with the actual presentation, with the product itself for how you intend to market it, cater it to the judges, or even just to, if you want to take it even a step further, how you plan to do so to consumers after the event's finished, or even hackers themselves. I think it's quite useful and helpful for teams to have people that have a non-technical background to kind of help them out in this way. Not to mention the fact that whenever you are interacting with judges, whether they're partners or the other judges for like the finalist track, you're trying to tell a story, right? So devs have to be focused on building the actual product itself, just kind of make sure everything works, get it together. And I think, it's really helpful if somebody else in the meantime, in parallel, is also focusing on how to tell that story, how to tell, why we did this, why it's useful, why it's has that wow factor, So I think there certainly is a place for people who have a non-technical background to add value to the team. So there definitely is possibilities for people who have non-technical backgrounds to win prizes or to be part of teams that can win prizes. um, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. And then, can we switch teams during the event? Yes, you should be able to. I don't think there is a limit to when you can do this, or how. Let me check. Yeah, don't think we have a limit to this. Ideally, people, it doesn't happen that often, just because if you switch teams and it gets a bit later into the weekend, so you don't have as much time maybe to help out. Or maybe you realize that you don't get along well with somebody. I mean, that happens. It's life. It happens in life all the time, right? So but yeah, you should be able to, but I would maybe send an email to the devfolio team. Well, actually, I'll double check that. So Kuldeep, if you want to send me an email to hello@ethglobal.com, I will check that, because I don't think they have limits. We don't have ETHGlobal doesn't have limits on when that happens for us. So I don't think ETHIndia has limits on their side either. And yeah, like if you have an idea, but your other teammates aren't able to come to the event, I would suggest reaching out to folks in the Find a Team channel on Discord, and then just going through here, seeing what people who are what you're looking for, and trying to just message people, reach out to them. The other thing is I haven't quite got to yet is the team formation session. So if I just quickly scroll through here, is at 7 p.m. on Friday, there will be another team formation. There will be a team formation idea brainstorming session. So I would suggest attending that as well. That way, there probably will still be a few people who are still looking for teams or people to join their teams. So definitely give this an attendance. A colleague from ETHGlobal and the ETHIndia team will be running this session. So it's a really just great way to, again, people will be sharing their ideas, who they're looking for. If they're looking for front ends or back ends or designers. And then I imagine then everybody will kind of start congregating and talking with one another to kind of just start recruiting people for their teams. But yeah, this session definitely will be a great session if you still haven't found a team yet, or if you're still not sure about an idea. Let me see if I miss any other questions. No, okay. So yeah, so that was anyways, going back to this, I think give this a read. Another way you can also find more ideas and just kind of get a better idea for what projects come out of our events is our highlights thread on Twitter. This has, if you scroll down, you'll see some of our past finalists from the different events, and if you click on the threads, you'll see more information on exactly what people built, maybe what they won, what they worked on. So again, this is another great resource, I think, to kind of just check through and just see what people have done in the past events. And then for ETHIndia, actually, this was ETHIndia last year. These are all the finalists that came out of India last year. So I just sent that in the chat. But yeah, so again, another great way to just kind of give you an idea for what people worked on last year. And then you can also, if you really want, instead of just not looking at finalists, you can just look at everybody. So on our showcase page, this is just filtered to ETHIndia, but actually you can filter for any of our previous events. And you can search if you know of a particular project, like say, if it was Safeguard, you can always just type in the Safeguard team name and then click on it. And then so it'll give you, what they built, the description, how they built it, a few screenshots, and even the source code as well. So But yeah, I think the showcase page, it doesn't, we're still working on the filters for it, but it's, if you're going through, if you're going through the site, like it's another great way, I think, just to get ideas and stuff. Let me see, did I do? Yeah, okay. The other thing I want to mention is mentors. So I kind of mentioned that the in the Discord, the partners, they'll have DevRels answering questions, helping answer technical questions if you get stuck on something from a particular partner. But we also have independent mentors as well. So this is it's currently on our website, and just ignore this because that's not relevant. But the we're looking to have about 15 or 17 different mentors helping us out at ETHIndia. So these, like I said, they're independent. They're not with a particular partner at our event, but it lists out, who they are, maybe what project or who they're working for, or what if they have their own company, what their company is, their skills, but also links to their Discord and their Twitter handles as well if you have particular questions for them. So they will be at the venue, basically all weekend and in different shifts, right? So I would suggest if you come across a particular mentor's profile that you're maybe quite interested in, reach out to them. Like they're aware that hackers will be reaching out to them. So whether it's via Discord or on Twitter, but they will also be there in person, right? So there will be a mentor station, a table where you all can come up to them if you have any particular questions that need to be asked, or excuse me, that need to be answered. But yeah, they're there to help you get unblocked on anything that you're currently facing. So, I mean, a lot of these mentors were our previous ETHGlobal, ETHIndia hackers as well. They've won prizes. They've gone on to start companies. They've been through it all, right? So that's why they were selected as mentors. So they will provide a lot of guidance and wisdom for you all. And they'll be wearing like bright yellow vests, kind of like construction vests, right? So they'll be easy to identify. You might mistake them for construction workers, but they're not. They're just a different type of worker, and a different type of helper. But yeah, so they'll be there all weekend, and especially there's a lot that I've scheduled for Sunday between 6 and 9 a.m. So usually people get a lot of questions around that time. So but hopefully you're not in a position where you're kind of dealing with that. Okay, so let me see. Oh, yeah, go back to the schedule. So as I mentioned earlier, the registration opens at 1. There's high tea at 3, and then at 4 is when all the different workshops start. So there will be 3 different workshop rooms, and everything will be running in parallel, right? But yeah, this is again another opportunity for you all to get ideas, to get ideas, interact with some partners, and just see what's possible for the weekend, for what's up ahead for you all to work on during the weekend. So I would suggest going through this, picking out which ones are really interesting to you, and making sure that you attend these, because they're there for you all. And they're just really just great resources. Again, it's similar to our all of our past workshops that we have from our different events that we'll post afterwards as well. But all of this content is just really great content for you all to take advantage of. So just don't forget that you've got some time still to watch these and to kind of figure out exactly what you maybe want to work on, or if you have particular questions on how to on a tech stack or anything. Okay, so that was that. The last thing I want to kind of really go through is the well, let me just go through this. So because yeah, the schedule, I will say again, like meals, lunch, beverages, like snacks, meals, they'll be provided throughout the weekend as well. So if you're worried about not eating, don't be. There will be plenty of food for you all, and even late night snacks. And then yeah, Saturday's a quiet day. There isn't much except the project feedback session. So with the mentors, a lot of mentors will be on shift at their mentor station just to offer feedback for anybody that wants feedback projects in their feedback. feedback on their projects. But you can also think of it the whole weekend as getting feedback on your project. The mentors are there to give you feedback. The partners are there to give you feedback. So don't be afraid to ask anybody for what they think of your project idea or the current status of your project, right? They're there to help you all make sure you get unblocked on this. And then, yeah, and then project submissions are due Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and then judging starts at 9:30. So this is the big day, right, that you've been waiting for. And it's going to be pretty strict. So like there will be a lot of reminders sent to make sure that you submit by 9 a.m. If you are able to submit your project and then go back and edit it. So I would suggest for folks, to when you've got a really good idea for everything's, I'll walk you through the format of it, but whenever you've more or less got it near complete, go ahead and submit it. And then you can always go back and just tweak it up, make sure that it has all the bells and whistles and it looks really polished and good to go for judging. Because if you don't submit it before 9 a.m., then there won't be any other opportunity to submit. So that's just something to keep in mind. And it'll be I think, less stressful for you all if you do so beforehand. That way you're not stressing out, you're not worried, and you don't miss that opportunity. So yeah, I'll go through that right now. So if we go back to the ETHIndia dashboard, right now this won't be open until you check in at the venue. So just keep that in mind. You need to check into the venue, whether that's Friday from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. or Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. to noon. Otherwise, they won't recognize you if you haven't checked in yet, and then you won't be able to join a team or excuse me, you won't be able to submit a project. But if I go in through here, submit project for judging. So, and this is pretty straightforward. So this is just, a bit disclaimer on what you've done. You're not plagiarizing or anything. This is who the team members are. You can go ahead and begin submission to ETHIndia. And then, yeah, you can just start filling out this information. So, the project name, tagline, what it solves. So I'm just going to quickly I won't go through this because it's just basically test. I'll just be putting test information, but basically every field in here is required except the video demo. This won't be a required field. And let me see, did they update it yet? It's not updated yet, but yeah, so this is where you can go through. I would suggest whenever you check in, you can go ahead and open this, like click this project that you want to submit and just start filling out this information. If you already know, if you don't, that's fine too. But I would suggest you kind of go through here, get yourself familiar for what's being asked of you. And it's pretty straightforward. Like, and yeah, make sure you have a cover image, pictures of what your project that you're wanting to showcase. And the reason for this is because it goes on the showcase page. These are like the screenshots and stuff. So it's that's why it asks for that information. The logo, the emoji helps identify, like it'll go. It's really neat. One of the slides in the closing ceremony. That's why we ask for people to select an emoji. And then, yeah, there are two different tracks you can do for judging. So there's the sponsor or the partner prize judging only, and then you can do the finalist prize and then the partner prize or sponsor prize judging. So I'll go through partner prize judging only or sponsor prize judging only real quick. It's basically, Sunday morning, you submit your project at 9 a.m. 9:30 is when judging begins. So there will be the partners, the sponsors will have their own at their booths, they'll be doing judging. So if you apply for a particular partner prize, like Scroll, maybe are the best use of Chainlink, CCIP, maybe you apply for Chainlink prizes, then you'll go to Chainlink, you'll demo, you'll talk to them, you'll basically present your project. If you apply for Powerloom, again, you'll just go to the Powerloom booth and you'll present your project to them. The best way I think, to tackle this, because it can get pretty crazy for judging. So if you have more than, if you have a couple team members, the best way I think is go ahead and just tell team members, hey, you go here, you go here, you go here. And that way you can just do it all one fell swoop. You don't have to go together or, use that much time, right? Because it gets a bit crowded, for partner judging. So And you'll select this. So like after you submit all this, you pick your category, the frameworks, languages, dev tools. You kind of keep scrolling, and then towards the end, it'll be you'll pick the partner track. So this is it'll be this is hasn't been updated, but it'll just be uh this is just the scroll track. This is the power loom. This is the chain link track. You select that, and then you'll just provide like a brief description on your project, right? What it is you worked on. This one thing to add, the video demo I said is optional. It's not required, but it's a good nice to have for partners, because they can also see if maybe you don't get around to every partner you want to meet with, they can still at least see your video demo. So that way it kind of gives them something else to look at too. So again, this is why it's really helpful to have people on your teams, like as many people as possible, right? Well, only 5 people, max 5 people on your team, but it's helpful that if you have room for, extra person to do like that, maybe doesn't have a tech background, like a product manager or designer or artist, this is where it really comes useful to have somebody to help do the video demo, to do that aspect. That way, it provides that whole wow factor and that whole package for everybody, for the judges to see. There was a question. So will we be assigned a specific time slot, or we need to get to each booth and show demo when our turn comes? There won't be a specific time slot. So yeah, it'll basically become a first come, first serve. So you'll once judging starts at 9:30, you can go. Usually what people do is they'll do like the main judging first, the finalist judging, and then let me go back. And then they'll do the partner prize, the sponsor prize judging after that. So, but either way, like at 9:30, everything opens up. So there probably will be a long queue for the finalist prize judging, just because there always is, and most people just do that, and then afterwards they'll go to the partner prize judging. So there isn't a really good suggestion on how to best do this, other than if you have a big team and everybody on the team feels comfortable and confident being able to speak to different partners or to present to whomever, then I would say, divide and conquer, I think, is the best strategy. That way you can get through everything that you need to get through, and that you feel less stressed out. The other thing is, if you're applying for a lot of partner prizes, I mean, I suggest, in the past experience, no more than four partner prizes is probably the best strategy. If you try to apply to 10 or 15 partner prizes, it just becomes too much to handle, and then I think your project becomes completely just bloated, and it loses scope, right? And you only have 36 hours to create a project anyway, so you don't have that much time to really build everything together. So that's just something to keep in mind, that there's not a lot of time. So don't try and overcomplicate things. Keep it simple. Make sure that the scope doesn't get out of hand, and then that way you're only focusing on a handful of partners, and then the finalists prizes. Would we require to make a website live? It doesn't have to be live. I think I mean, and some people they'll deploy on a test website, but it doesn't. I mean, whatever you feel comfortable doing, right? So I would say, as long as somebody can see it, as long as a judge can see it, and then that's all that matters right now. Then afterwards, you should be able to just go back and, hey, I want to edit this, but it won't be. It would have to be like a week or so afterwards. GitHub repo will be with a video of demo. I'm not sure I understand that. Are you asking that, or are you just saying that a GitHub repo will be with a video of demo? And yeah, in the meantime, so the other thing, so that was the partner prices, and finalist judging that's you'll get in queue, you'll check in with my colleague Andrew, who does the green room, and he'll basically assign you to a different judging room, and then you'll present live in front of 2 judges. So you won't be showing them a video, you'll just be walking them live through your demo. You'll get 4 minutes to demo your project and 3 minutes of Q&A with the judges. And then once that's done, then you get your photo taken, and then you can go to the partner judging if you haven't done that already. But do we have to make different presentations according to different judges? No, you don't have to do that. No, I mean, if depending on if you're doing like partner prizes, like if you're meeting with, maybe you're meeting with Scroll, Chainlink, and Hyperloom, the presentations to those each three will be a bit different because you're catering to those specific partners, right? So if I'm meeting with Scroll, I'm going to do what I can to make sure that when I'm speaking with them, it's mostly talking about like Scroll and how it's integrated and how it all works. I mean, you could also bring up the other partners that you work with too, but the Scroll judges are going to be more interested in their product and their tech than they are in for Hyperloom's tech, basically. And so for people that, if you're doing just the finalist prize, it doesn't necessarily have to be built on top of a partner either. In the grand scheme of things, as long as built on top of Ethereum, that's really what counts. Because there are finalists and folks who haven't, they didn't win any partner prizes because they were just focused purely on just the overall grand scheme of things, right? They had an idea and it didn't involve any of the partner tech necessarily. So that's also an option you can do as well. But really, ultimately, like in the grand scheme of things, the prizes are great, but as long as that you're here, you're building, you're learning, you've picked up a new skill with a particular tech stack, or you're showing that commitment in that in that area, then that's I think the ultimate prize, right? And so you come out of this experience a lot much more knowledgeable, a lot much more enthusiastic for what you can accomplish on building on top of Ethereum. So I wouldn't get too hung up on the prices, right? They're there to offer some incentive for sure, but you definitely, people who haven't won prizes at events have gone on to start companies from their projects and do really great things. So it's not necessarily, it doesn't mean that just because you didn't win a prize or become a finalist that you that it's not your project isn't worthy or you're not worthy. That's quite the opposite. You're definitely worthy, and your project and what you built is worthy. So ultimately, we're all trying to onboard as many devs to Ethereum as possible. That way we can onboard as many consumers and users to Ethereum as possible too, and introduce the world to this. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like, definitely, I wouldn't get too disheartened if you don't win a prize. And people that have won prizes, finalists, it took them maybe 5 or 10 hackathons before they did too. So we've got a really great mix of people and from all different backgrounds and experience levels. So it's definitely a hodgepodge of a great mix of people. So, okay, one of my teammates has run into emergency and needs to leave exactly around 6 p.m. on Sunday. Is it okay if the 2 other teammates are present in the venue for the presentations? Yeah, that's fine, because Sunday, everything ends, like judging is expected to end around lunchtime, 12:30, 1-ish. So, if they have to leave at 6 p.m., that's fine, because the after party ends at 6 anyway. So, if people have to leave, during judging, or if your teammate isn't there, during judging because of something, like, as long as somebody's there presenting, that's what counts. And if should they become a finalist, then, and if they can't be there, they'll have to miss the closing ceremonies and the presentation. But yeah, as long as somebody is there presenting to the judges from the team, then that's really what counts. As long as whoever's presenting feels confident enough to do so, right? So if maybe the main person that built the project is no longer there, then it might backfire if or just it might not go as smoothly as you'd hoped if the person presenting doesn't feel that comfortable doing so or answering questions. But yeah, so anyways, as I was going through this, like, that's kind of the rundown of that. And if there are questions, like if you go to the Hacker's Guide, the project submission and judging, this also kind of details at a very granular level what exactly it entails too. So it gives you more tips and information and guidance on what to expect and just how to approach it. Again, if you're able to make a demo video, I say do so. It's really helpful, comes in really handy for just judging in general. But the main thing is really just to make sure that you submit something before 9 a.m. as well. So I would suggest doing so an hour or two beforehand. That way you've done it, it's there, it's good to go. And then you can always go back and just tweak and edit, some things too. But yeah, that's basically it. So I don't know, are there any other questions or anything? Feel free to take yourself off mute or type in the chat. And I'll go ahead, like if anybody does have any questions after this, you can always send me an email, hello@ethglobal.com. And one last thing too, I guess, is definitely please share any photos or stories that you have about your experience at ETHIndia with us on Twitter or on email as well, because we love to see people's thoughts and ideas on how the event went and everything. And then we will have a feedback form for you all to submit to during the closing ceremony as well, or it'll be live during the closing ceremony. But yeah, any sort of feedback that people can provide for us is certainly appreciated and helpful. So that way we can continue working on our events and making them better for the next event. Let's see. So can we demonstrate project with video since we would have transaction and projects, right? Is that supposed to be transaction? Can we demonstrate project with video? Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah. So for that, actually, you can cut it out. So if it takes time for a transaction to verify in your video, you can just like cut out the transaction. Like, okay, so it starts and then maybe a minute later it finishes, right? So that whole 59 seconds, you can just cut that out of the video. You don't need to show that in the video. So you can record the video through its entirety and then just go back and slice out that. For the live demo, I mean, it's understandable, right, that it takes some time. So it shouldn't take too long, right? Hopefully. But I would suggest, yeah, you demonstrate the project in a video, and then yeah, because let me so the when you're presenting to judges, you can definitely show that. I mean, you can do it as live as much as you can, and then talk about in the video that the transaction takes, like, I don't know, if it takes 2 minutes, then I guess it takes 2 minutes, right? So you can always just share the judges. Sorry.
Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear
So
you.
basically, since we are planning to use CCIP or maybe channeling functions or Polygon ID,
Mhm.
so all three of them takes very long time for verification. So it is quite impossible for us to demonstrate the project flow within 4 minutes. So will it be okay if we make a video of live demonstration and we can
Yes.
showcase the project live? But since demo of all the things cannot be there in one thing, so that's the
Yeah,
reason I'm asking.
gotcha. Yeah, no, that's fine. I think that's fine. And then yeah, just have the video ready to demonstrate that for the judges, and they'll, I mean, they've seen it before, they'll understand. So yeah, that's fine. And then yeah, you can, for the rest of the presentation, you can of course talk about whatever you need to. Yeah, that's fine. There was my question. Ganesh, yeah. So, yeah, that Ganesh, yeah, that's fine, because judging ends around 1:30, or excuse me, 12:31. So, if they have to leave at 6 p.m., that's totally fine, because that's already at the end of the event anyway. So, yeah, that's fine. Are there any other questions? And again, yeah, if people have any questions, feel free to send me an email, hello@ethglobal.com. The Hacker's Guide has a ton of resource and information for you all. The project submission UI flow, it won't open until you check into the venue. So don't expect to go there and see it open for you right now. And yeah, definitely take advantage of all the resources we have on YouTube, on our Twitter. Oops. And yeah, the showcase page as well. And yeah, if you haven't already, I'll find that. Let me find the link again, but if people are interested in attending Pragma, here is the link again for a free discount code. And you'll just enter that in at checkout on Stripe whenever you're purchasing your ticket via credit card. Yeah, if there are no other questions, thank you all for attending today. Hopefully this is really helpful for you all. This will be on YouTube as well. So if you know somebody that maybe couldn't make it, and then we can always share it with them too. But it was a pleasure. I hope everybody has a great time at ETHIndia. And yeah, we are available if you have any questions or need assistance with anything, whether it's online or actually in person at the venue. So cheers. Thank you all. Have a good evening.